Let's go to Representative Carlos Gimenez. We appreciate you being here with us this morning and joining us live. Let's talk a little bit about that. So what is next for the government? I do not imagine that the U.S. would have taken such a precision strike, removed the president, and not had an indication as to the road ahead. And I'm very interested in hearing who you've spoken to directly as well.
Well, look, I've spoken to the Secretary of State. He called me this morning to tell me that what had happened, and so I expressed my approval and support for the actions taken by the president. I got to thank the president of the United States for taking the action. It's something that many in this community are very happy about. But that's the first step. It's a first step to what we hope will be a free and democratic Venezuela.
Do you think prior elections may play a part in this? I mean, have you spoken directly with María Corina Machado?
I have spoken to her, and again, it's a wait and see right now. What's going to happen next. The last thing that we want is chaos in Venezuela. The last thing that we want is bloodshed in Venezuela. And so I would believe that right now, what the government of the United States is doing, the Secretary of State is doing, along with obviously the president, following his wishes, is trying to find a path, a peaceful path to a transition to a free and democratic Venezuela. What that looks like, I'm not privy to. It's a complicated issue, but I can't believe that we are going to remove one narco-terrorist dictator and replace him with another narco-terrorist dictator. I think the only path forward, some way, somehow, is to get to, if it's not the installation of the government that was elected a year and a half ago, is with some quick way to have elections in Venezuela. And remember that María Corina Machado, she's the vice president only because she wasn't allowed to run for president. And so they choose they had a consensus kind of candidate to run, but really the power behind this movement is María Corina Machado.
Well, in your conversation, though,
as demonstrated by her winning the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah. In your conversation this morning, in fact, did she give you any insight? What did she say?
I'm not privy. I'm not going to talk about what we talked about. But she understands too that it's a very fluid situation, and that what's best for Venezuela right now is to make sure that it's a peaceful transition to power. But we must get to that. We must get to democracy. We must get to freedom for the people of Venezuela. I'm sure that the president understands that. I know that the Secretary of State understands that. How to get there? Well, it's going to take a while for us to figure this out.
Congressman, one question. If things aren't done rapidly to get a new government in place or transitional government in place, is there concern about what Russia or Cuba may do, kind of trying to swoop in, or China?
I think we just sent a pretty clear message to both Russia, China, Cuba, that we were going to take the action to protect the interests of America. And remember, this is an action that protected the interests of America. This was the head of a narco-terrorist state. This individual is responsible for the deaths of many, many Americans, and he's part of a broad network of cartels that have reigned and shipped poison into the United States that has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. This is also, the doctrine of the president is that we are not going to be like other administrations, taking our eye off what's happening in our hemisphere. And it's a new day in town, and so a new day. And so, no, I don't think so. Nicolas Maduro, his security forces were basically Cubans. All right, so this is the best that Cuba had to offer, and obviously,
All right, Representative Gimenez, your shot is frozen a little bit. We appreciate you talking to us. So many more questions. Wanted to talk as well about the TPS status of Venezuelans, what this does to that. Does it change it in any way, given the government situation there? But obviously, we have lost that connection to the representative. But we truly appreciate his time with us this morning and the insight that he has spoken with many leaders this morning regarding this strike overnight.